Yay Networks.
Welcome back to Spill the Beans podcast and to Vlogmas. I know this is a weird setup. We'll tell you why we're here right now. But before all of that, first and foremost, let's welcome our special guests, Lulu and Ariadna.
Oh my God.
Dude, we haven't seen you in how long?
Girl, it's been like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh my
That's crazy.
God. How does it feel being here?
I just can't believe it. Like, I feel like I'm not really here, and like my heart's like pounding really fast because I'm just so excited, and I waited for this moment for so long.
So did we. I feel like, huh?
Yes, it's crazy.
I think we were just waiting for you to move back. And we're like, when is she gonna come? When is she gonna come
and
back?
every time I would see y'all posting and stuff, and I'd be like, what? It's because it was just so hard. I could have came before, but with two babies, I just could not fly by myself, you know?
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, so that now that my husband's here, then we can...
Oh my God.
Reunite.
Well, we're so happy to have you here, and we're happy that you came. Thank you so much for flying in for my baby shower.
Thank you.
Insane. And it's just crazy, like we're here. And
So
4 years ago, was it 4 years ago?
2018?
19. Yeah, so 4 years
4
ago.
years. Yeah.
4 years ago, andamos de solteronas in
Ni soltero.
California. No, I know, but like without
We
kids.
were married.
We were like in our married.
No, not married tampoco.
Oh, I was.
Only you were married. She was with Rogelio
married.
and I was with Jorge, but we were not like...
You were married already?
Yeah, but I remember I came to like look at wedding dresses.
Oh, my
Yes.
God. We all went to go see wedding dresses.
Yeah.
You tried them on and everything.
That is so insane. And now aquí estamos con 2 hijos cada uno.
I know.
6 niños después. Literally. Can you believe that? Oh my God.
En 4 años, 6 hijos? No, hombre.
A lot happens
And
in
you know
4
what?
years.
The craziest part is that we all have a boy and a girl. Well, Blanca's baby girl's coming,
Yeah,
but
she's on the way.
boy and girl. That's crazy.
It is crazy and it's insane. And I think we're just so happy to be here y echar el chisme, you know, because dude, talking when there's kids around is like uno allá y el otro acá.
Which is why we're here.
Yeah, so basically we are at a public library and we found these study rooms, and basically we just did this because we had to escape from the daycare that we have going on at home.
Yep.
I was like, it's easier for us to like us 3 leave than to get everyone out of the house. It just would not be possible. So I'm thankful that we got to come here and echar el chisme juntas.
Me too, girl.
Intentan.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start. I think that we'll go ahead and start with you because so we went home, right? It was probably in October when I went, or September.
October, yeah, because my room was decorated in October.
Yeah, it was fall vibes.
Fall vibes.
So it was October. So
Can we put the iconic picture that we took?
yes. I'll put it right here.
Could we retake in your room?
Oh my
We
God,
should
on the
totally.
bed? Okay.
With the babies, girl. I'm just kidding.
Wait, no,
La
we
otra
should.
vez
Well, we can try. Okay, let's do it. Make sure you remind me to do that when we get home. But so I fly home, right? And I think literally like a week later, that's how it felt like. Nos das la noticia de que ya me voy a México.
Me fui a vivir a México. Viví en México hasta este año con mi esposo y ya por fin regresamos. Pero sí, pues mi vida cambió de repente. Mi esposo es de México y yo me fui para allá para estar con él. Y luego ya después vinieron los niños y todo eso. So, la vida ha cambiado mucho y yo fui la primera en embarazarme. Y ya cuando empezaron ustedes a tener sus hijos, para mí fue como like comforting, you know, like it just felt like I wasn't alone, and I knew what y'all would post and what y'all would go through. I could help, you know, even if y'all didn't need it, I would be able to be there for y'all. So, is it okay if I speak Spanish?
Yeah, it is.
De repente
No, yeah,
se me sale el español
of
y
course.
me
Tu
voy.
español está bien bonito.
I know.
Hola.
I'm like,
Gracias.
qué
Y en
profesional.
inglés, dude, ever since I came back, people are like, your accent is worse. And I'm like, I know. I mean,
I love your
I was living
accent.
in Mexico for almost 4 years, and I mean, I just spoke Spanish to my husband, to his family, everyone. So I know it changed, but I try my best, girl.
And it's still perfect, like considering that you were gone for so long. Your English
Gracias,
is
favor
perfect
que
still.
me haces.
Period. So you were in Mexico for 4 years, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years,
right?
yeah.
2 kids away from your family. How did that feel?
Honestly, at the beginning it was fine. Like, los primeros años no fue difícil porque estaba como en mi honeymoon phase, you know? Y ya como que el año pasado fue como que it's time to go back home. It's been enough. Y honestamente la vida en México es muy difícil. Tanto para salir, obviamente a mí no se me complicó tanto por mi trabajo, que trabajo en redes sociales, o me fui para allá y no cambió mucho de mi trabajo, pero yo siento que si me hubiera ido a trabajar allá, buscar un trabajo allá, la vida en México es muy difícil y obviamente se puede salir adelante, yo no digo que no, pero es muy difícil. Entonces, aparte de estar lejos de mi familia, ya cuando llegaron los niños, pues quiero que mi mamá vea crecer a mis niños, mi papá, y tan solo la vida en Estados Unidos, quiero que mis hijos tengan oportunidad de salir adelante, de estudiar, de tener su carrera, de tener su trabajo bien. Por eso ya llegó un punto que le dije a mi esposo, sabes que yo ya te seguí a ti, creo que te toca seguirme a mí. Y él sabía que tenía razón, I did it for him, it was time for him to do it for me. And here we are. Yeah.
I'm
But I
so
feel-
proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so proud of y'all too. I know we all understand that being a mom is not easy. But it's so worth it, and our babies are our world. But I do love that we all became moms around the same time, and then having one baby is one thing, but then having two babies is a different thing, So I feel like we connect a lot, and I love y'all, love watching y'all's content. Yo siento que aunque estuve muy lejos, yo nunca dejé de seguirlas, yo nunca dejé de verlas, de saber what's going on with y'all,
Yo me puse muy triste cuando you disappeared, Because I loved watching your content, and I felt so relatable. And it was like a different part. Like, I love seeing you in Mexico because I was like, yo quiero ver qué está haciendo.
Es un mundo diferente.
Es un mundo diferente y yo quería ver eso, Pero entiendo que tú te cerraste mucho y...
Sí, y también siento que para mucha gente es como, qué loca, cómo se atrevió a irse a México de la nada. And I mean, eso es lo que hace el amor. Honestamente me enamoré, yo ya no quería estar lejos de mi ahora esposo y pues me fui, pero pues sí, vivir en México es algo bien diferente, pero sí, también cambió mucho cuando tuve a mi segundo bebé, a mi niña. Yo ya no sentía que tenía el tiempo, la energía para subir contenido, y aunque lo extrañaba mucho, no tenía el tiempo simplemente para subir contenido. Tener 2 hijos y más seguiditos, yo sé que tú lo entiendes ya, tú pronto lo vas a entender, pero tener 2 hijos es llevarlo un día a la vez, no puedes tener una rutina porque los dos son totalmente diferentes y nunca sabes lo que va a venir ese día. But it was just so hard, and a lot of people were like, you need to come back, and I knew I did, but at the same time I knew my babies were important, and it was going to be just so much more stress for me to be worrying about social media while I was still trying to, raise 2 babies. And
Y se entiende.
it's hard, yeah.
And you're doing the damn thing, girl. Because I know, like, watching your stories and watching your YouTube videos, I'm like, dude, ¿cómo le haces? Especialmente porque ya sabemos cómo es tener un bebé. Y luego, y pues yo, de mi experiencia viéndote, I'm like, how the hell is she doing
sola.
it?
I mean, and it's not, nadie sabe cómo lo haces. Ni siquiera, I can ask you, how do you do it? You're like, I don't even know, girl. Like, it's just one day at a time. And de repente se pasó el día y no supiste ni cómo pasó, ni qué pasó en el día. But it's time for the next day. And you just wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, I don't know if today is going to be a good day or a bad day, but here we are. And us moms, we just got to do it, girl. It's not just a job you can just quit. Yeah. So, but how do y'all feel of having kids so young?
I think that for me, it was different because I don't think that I'm that young. Cuando pensaba así, I was like, yeah, 25 voy a empezar. Y ahorita pues ya tengo 25.
You don't feel like a teen mom?
I don't
feel like a teen mom.
I don't feel like a teen mom.
But either way, you didn't want to have kids this young.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that just being a mom makes me realize, like, why didn't I want to be a mom? Like, this is amazing.
It's the most fulfilling thing in the world, yeah.
Yeah, and especially because you were pregnant first, and then Lulu the next year, you got pregnant. So how was that for you?
What was the question?
How was it? You, because you saw Ariadna when she got pregnant, and then
So I remember, like, you were such an influence to me. Like, I remember when we would hang out and you would tell us, like, I want to get married. And you already knew exactly what you wanted to do in your life. I remember you telling me, I want to get married. I want to buy a house. I'm going to buy my house in Mexico. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I want to buy my house. Oh my God, I want to get married. I remember doing that. And I remember seeing you pregnant and you were siempre arreglada. Remember when I got pregnant with Catalina, I was so excited. I remember you always posting, I love Sebastián. Like, siempre ponías tantas cositas tan bonitas. And it was just like, I want to be that mom too. I remember being pregnant and viéndote arreglada. Yo también me quería arreglar y tomarme fotos bonitas. Y así.
I know, dude. I can't.
And me encantaba todo tu contenido because I could relate. And it was just like, I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to buy a house. Y miraba que comprabas tu casa. Y miraba que te arreglabas y tus niños. Y miraba todos tus videos y así. Y me encantaba. Like, I really enjoyed my pregnancy. And I really enjoyed getting ready cuando la primera. And then I remember seeing you como eras con el segundo. And I remember struggling too. It's so different. Second pregnancy, second baby. It's like a different world. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy how much it changes.
Yeah, but I feel like you kind of knew what's coming because you already saw me go through it.
I saw it.
So I felt like whenever, I'm pretty sure I reached out to you when I found out you were pregnant. I was like, if you ever need anything, because I know what it feels like, you know, to feel a certain way and just not have anyone that understands or that can be there for you. So even if y'all like, you never needed to reach out or anything, for me, it was just, I love that I went through this first because if they ever have any questions, like I know you reached out about breastfeeding,
yes,
and, like,
and you helped me
up,
so much.
and I was like, you just try this, you know, and this might work. I know every mom's different, every baby's different, but for me, just knowing that I could be a help was just awesome, you know. And yeah, yo cuando ustedes se embarazaron, to me was like, thank God, you know, because somebody that is going through what I'm going through and we can just relate, and it's just so beautiful. But
and do you think it helped, like, knowing you knew her personally and you could watch her content? You're like, I actually want to take her advice. Like, I want her influence.
I feel like I could relate a lot to her because we both have husbands that are Mexican. They don't speak English. I moved so far away from my family. Even if it's just an hour, it's still so much. Like, I cannot just go any day or any hour that I could go with my mom. Like, I'm alone over there completely, you know? And like, I have my husband sometimes, like, he works and I'm just home. And sometimes I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do all day. And I'm just there, you know? And sometimes when I was pregnant, the second pregnancy, I had no energy. And the toddler has so much energy, you know? And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I remember seeing you when you're pregnant and it was so completely different. I'm like, oh my God, like, that's so right.
I mean, yo les dije a ustedes, cuando tienen dos hijos, it's the most beautiful thing, seeing your older being like the oldest sibling and loving on the little one and everything. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I've always been pretty honest, and it's hard, you know, and it gets harder before it gets easier. But I'm just glad we can relate and just know that you're not the only one going through it, you know. And I told Blanca, like, if you ever just feel, because it's happened to me, like, hay días que yo me encierro en el baño a llorar porque I feel like I can't do it, like I have no idea how I'm going to get through the day. And I told her, if you ever feel like you need to cry it out, call us, like, you know, call me and we can cry together, because more than likely I'm going through the same thing, you know. And that's just, I feel like es como comforting, just knowing that you can count on someone and that somebody also went through it. Y que no eres la única.
And something I admire about you is how raw and real you are, because I follow a lot of moms, obviously, right? And they make it seem like, and I follow moms that have 4 kids, 5 kids. They make it seem like it's the most beautiful, joyful thing in the world. And when I'm struggling with Franco, now that I'm pregnant, I'm like, girl, like, how are you guys doing this? And then I watch you and your stories and your videos. I'm like, okay, like, I can relate. Like, so it's real. It's just that people don't upload any of this. So I really admire that about you.
I feel like when you posted about recently the TikTok of your kids, like, arriba de las mesas, like, Catalina hace lo mismo, son niños. Pero like, for me, I hold back to post a lot of that stuff porque son niños. It's like so normal for them, you know. They want to climb things. They want to
ride on things,
and especially
on walls.
Us that we no salimos tanto. Yo son días que no salgo de mi casa y estoy ahí en mi casa.
De alguna manera.
Y they're so bored at home that they just don't know what to do, you know. Pero hay tanta gente que te critica. Y que hay gente tan, like, yo no quiero que hablen de mis hijos, so I don't post stuff, you know. Pero veo que tan feo hablan, I'm like, oh my God, like, I feel so bad.
I mean,
you know?
honestly, whenever, I just know what's going to come. Like, at this point, we just know the comments that are coming on our way. Pero yo siempre me dije a mí misma, yo voy a ser honesta porque yo no quiero ser esa mamá que está viendo otra influencer y siente que ella la tiene bien fácil. Y luego yo diciendo, ¿Y por qué mis hijos no son así? O porque mis hijos son niños y mis hijos, yo siempre he dicho, no me importa lo que digan porque al final del día ellos no lo están cuidando. Yo soy la que me llevo la chinga, honestamente, eso. ¿Qué les importa? Pero sí, siempre que publico hay gente que me dice, oh my God, thank you for posting this because I can relate. My kid just did that, you know? And hay otras que me dicen, tienes que ser más fuerte con ellos, tienes que llevarles, like, you know, just be more strict, te tienes que enseñarles.
Pero si tú pones videos donde you're being strict, que si le pegas o así van a criticarte.
Exactly.
Y que cómo quieres que lo hagas, ¿me
Yeah,
entiendes?
and I feel like, honestly, a big part of why I also stopped being so active on social media after my babies is because of those comments, because yo ya tenía suficiente like, con el cansancio físico emocional de 2 niños como para estar lidiando con gente en las redes sociales que quiere decirte cómo educar a tus hijos, cómo tienes que vestirlos, cómo tienes que tratarlos. Yo publico, honestamente, los niños en la mañana los cambio, los baño, la peino, lo que sea. En la noche, parecen niños de la calle. Como que no hice nada por ellos en todo el día. Y yo publico así la historia and I'm like, who cares? It's kids, you know, like, this is real life. Like, and I just always want people, así como dices tú, you know, yo en mi primer embarazo was beautiful. Yo me sentía hermosa, me tomaba fotos todos los días. My second pregnancy, not the same girl. Yo me sentía cansada. My back was hurting. I gave birth to her. I was tired. I just didn't have the energy. I was going through emotionally. And I just feel like, just like you could relate to me, I feel like other people out there can relate. And that's what's so important about being an influencer. You know, just people need to relate to you, you know, just know it's real life and we're normal people and we go through the same thing other people go through.
Exactly. And I think there's also so many other influencers that if you don't relate to me, okay, cool, then move on and find someone that you do relate to. But
sure.
I don't think it's necessary to leave mean comments or to even comment on how someone parents their kids, you know?
I mean, people who have that time just have an issue already, you know, because I'm too busy with my kids, like, to be commenting on other moms.
Exactly.
That's it.
Or they don't have kids.
Or you don't have, yeah, and bro, if you don't have kids, what are you doing, like, commenting, like, how to parent kids? Porque
And you will
la
never know until
mayoría
you
de
have
los
kids.
comentarios
Exactly.
negativos sobre los niños es gente que ni siquiera son papás. ¿Y de dónde sacas esta sabiduría de cómo educar niños? Like, you just have too much time on your hands. Like, you need to get busy or something, because
Literally, no sabes hasta que te pasa.
yeah, but like, todas somos muy diferentes, porque yo con mis niños, yo no les llevo una rutina, no les llevo un horario de dormir, y eso funciona para mí. Y a lo mejor tú me ves y dices, I could never, but I could never put them in a routine, you know? And I know it works so well, because I've seen so many moms do it. Girl, I just can't do it. Like, no tengo no sé, la madurez o no sé qué sea, but like, for you to have your babies your baby on a routine, que aquí esta hora se duerme, esta hora despierta, I know it's so helpful, and I admire that so much. I'm like, how do you do it? You know, like, it's such a different way to parent, but it's, cada quien tiene su manera de hacerlo, and it's completely fine. You know, like, cada quien lo puede hacer y cada quien puede hacer con su vida un papalote, you know?
And it's whatever works for you, because you can't sit there and be like, oh, I could never do that. Oh, I would never do that with my kids, because like you say that and then you get to that and you're like, oh shit, like I'm doing the same thing, or you know. So I feel like it's nice that us as moms, we come together and we see everyone's separate routine and how we parent and how we feed our kids anything, and we don't even like, oh my God, I would never do that. We're just like, okay, like, we're moms and we accept each other, we understand each other, and we would never judge each other.
I cannot come and tell you, okay, tienes que quitarle su nap time.
Exactly.
How am I going to tell you what to do? You know, tú eres la que batalla, tú eres la que lleva tu día con tu niño, and you can't come and tell me, you need to do this. Who are you? Like, even if we're really close friends, o que sea, nadie tiene derecho a decirle a otra persona lo que es mejor para ellos, porque nadie como nosotros, cada quien va a saber lo que es mejor para sus hijos.
Y es diferente cuando te piden advice, you know, when
Yeah,
they're
it's
like, oh,
different.
how do you do this?
And that's
Or-
up to you to take it or not, you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like when we come together and I see you do things, or I see you pick and choose what you take home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I'll go home and like, I saw her do this, I'm gonna do this too. Or I think, let me
si
try
no
it.
funciona,
you know, pues no.
then don't do it, you know, like, and just, it's a try and error with the kids. Like, hay cosas que funcionan, cosas que no.
Cada niño es diferente, cada
Cada niño es
adulto, cada
diferente.
mamá es diferente.
Sure.
And I'm just so happy that we're in this era together, because when I knew like you were coming and then Lulu's coming and then Stacy and all of it, I'm like, everyone has kids, and even if they're not the same age, they're not doing the same things, we just know, like,
We understand.
whatever the kids do, we have no control over. Like, we can only control so much, and cualquier cosa que pase, we just look at each other and we're like, it's fine, like, they're kids, you know?
Yeah, and it's different, like, hanging out with people who don't have kids.
Yeah.
Like, yo estoy en un punto que no me gusta estar con personas que no tienen niños porque no lo entienden. Y por más que they say they understand, they just don't, you know? And I'm scared. I can't be at a house where I can't let my kid grab this toy or this toy because I'm going to be just too stressed, you know? So coming to your house and just knowing all the kids made a mess together, the whole house is a mess, but it's fine because we understand that's how kids are.
Exactly.
And you're not going to be mad because my baby threw a ball, you know?
Or like judging.
Yeah, or judging, yeah. That's so important. Por eso les digo, yo sí, yo siempre le dije a mi esposo, yo ocupo amigas que tengan niños para que podamos ir a un park date or like to take them to a los jueguitos, lo que sea, porque si estamos con alguien que no tiene niños, they want to go party. They're in a different stage in their lives where I can't be partying, girl. Like I have kids to take care of, you know, so it's just so different, but I am so glad we are going through this literally together because tuvimos el primer niño juntos y ahora el segundo niño también, y aunque los míos están un poquito más grandes, they're still going to grow up together. You know, in a few years they're going to be the same age, at the same stage, they're still going to be playing together, which and I love now like seeing our kids play together, just seeing them together like by the Christmas tree, you know.
Y todo así con la cámara y las
Sí.
fotos.
Yeah, we tried taking a picture of them.
Of each other anymore.
Literally, it's all camera roll of our kids.
Yeah, and
No,
we tried
hombre.
taking a picture of all of them together yesterday, and
It was a
that
shit
did
show.
not go
But it
well.
was the best picture. I feel like those pictures are the best ones.
Yeah, it's so
I
cute.
just think that it's so nice that we understand each other, because you were screaming over here, Lulu was screaming over here, I was screaming over here, and I'm like,
was
I
chaos.
could not imagine doing this with someone that didn't have kids, because they don't understand, and it's like, it's so chaotic. And for me, I'm like, thank God that I have all of these people in my life, because si no estuviera sola, como, ¿qué voy a hacer? ¿A dónde voy a llevar a Franco? Nadie lo
Y
entiende,
te
nadie
limitas
juega.
más también en todo, like, en todo lo que haces cuando estás con personas que no lo entienden.
Yeah.
Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode.
It's the season of giving and gathering, and with HelloFresh, it can also be the season of saving. Actually save money this month with fresh recipes delivered, cheaper than takeout, and with pre-portioned ingredients, you'll never waste money on excess food.
Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck in the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing your dinner is on the way.
HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and over 100 add-on items to choose from every week. I love HelloFresh because with the holidays around the corner, I'd rather stress about the gifts that are going to be under the tree than the dinner on the table.
And I love HelloFresh because usually I'm the one that goes grocery shopping, so it cuts out that whole task for me. Go to HelloFresh.com/spillthebeansfree and use code spillthebeansfree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active.
That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/spillthebeansfree with code spillthebeansfree.
HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
But I'm just so glad to be here, and I'm so proud of y'all, and I love you guys so much.
We are so proud of
I
you
love you.
because I know that it's brave what you did, leaving your family and then creating your family so away from your actual, like, your parents. It's crazy, and you've been through it too because you live an hour away, and an hour in LA is a long
It's like
time,
whole day.
girl. Literally.
And now we're in a car with kids.
Oh,
my goodness.
Oh yeah,
No.
car with kids.
Literally, we have not left the house just for the baby shower.
Yeah,
We're like,
that's
we're
it,
not leaving.
yeah.
I know.
Aquí se
And-
aquí que coman.
And we understand, like, we came to Colorado, we're not like, ay, no vamos a salir, like, dude, I'm fine in your house.
Yeah.
Like, I do not care.
Honestly, like, yo también, si viajo con gente que quiere ir a conocer, traveling with kids is already like a whole adventure. Yeah, it's so hard. So yo, si viajo, yo sé que es cansado. So yo no puedo estar saliendo que a un restaurante que al otro, que a conocer acá, porque los niños no dejan. Y es muy cansado. So just being home, you're like, come over, I'm coming over, girl. That's
Yeah.
perfectly fine for me because that's the best we can do, honestly.
Honestly.
That's the best.
Yep, and we all understand that they're screaming toddlers. Y si vamos a comer, pues, good luck, Charlie, to us, ¿verdad?
And we understand we're in a restaurant.
Yeah. Like, que
Yeah.
griten.
No vamos a hablar por una hora, pero
Seriously,
vamos a ir a...
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it makes me happy that we're all here, we're all together, that our kids get to grow up. And the fact that we have all these pictures to show them when they're older, you know, because we're like, look, this was us before we had you guys, and this was us when we had you, and this is you guys,
Growing
you know,
up together.
growing
and
up
everything.
together. Y
Yes.
pues se entienden, aunque no se entienden, you know, and it's just nice to see them all having fun together and playing and being comfortable around each other.
Yes, for sure.
So I think I'm going to start getting into the questions because a lot of you guys want to know a lot of things. And we did get one that was asked a lot on Instagram. And one of them being, I guess we could just explain it quickly because it's a fast explanation, but it's basically saying, why did we drift apart? why weren't we together for 4 years? But
You know, a lot of people are always like, when are you going to meet up with them? And it's not that easy. It's not just like, especially with maybe cuando estábamos like solteras, you know,
Sí.
it was easy to just come together in LA and it was easy, you know. Pero ahora to think about coming together, we have kids, we have husbands, we just have a whole life.
a life, a business,
Yeah, tenemos
you know.
todo una vida cada quien, you know, and which is fine. And I feel like as adults, we understand that, you know, and it's like part of like maturing and growing up, just knowing that aunque no hablemos todos los días, aunque no nos veamos todos los días, we're still there for each other. And when we do come together, we're going to be fine, you know?
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing about social media is that we can still keep up with each other, aunque no estemos hablando 24/7. You
I wouldn't say we drifted apart. We were just adults
In our
and
different,
living our lives.
we were in different places in the world. Places in the world. I was in
Literally.
Mexico. Like y'all are far away. Sí se veían ustedes más seguido, you know. Pero yo así cuando veía que el baby shower de Franco, el de Catalina, así yo decía, I just wish I could be there, but I just can't. And it was physically impossible for me. Yo dije, en cuanto mi esposo pueda ir, I'm gonna do it. Here we are, girl. We barely moved back to Texas in September, and right now it's December, and here we are.
Is this your first trip here in the United
It's
States?
our first trip. Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Do you plan
Thank
on
you.
like doing this more often? Yeah.
Yeah, girl, we need it. Honestly, like even for my husband, I was really nervous porque Jorge es muy reservado. I'm pretty sure you noticed. Él es muy callado. It's really hard to take words out of his mouth. Y él estaba nervioso también. He was like, I don't know if like maybe they're not gonna like me because I'm quiet. I just don't talk just to talk, you know. But yesterday he was really happy. Like he feels good, you know. So that to me is also really important porque it's really uncomfortable for you to be comfortable, but your husband not to be comfortable, you know. So to me now it's not just thinking about myself; it's thinking about my husband and my kids too. So the babies have been having fun. My husband has been, you know, talking here and there, having fun. So I'm glad he's comfortable. And con más razón porque I know whenever in the future if I tell him vamos para allá con Lulu o con Blanca, he's gonna be like, okay, let's go because he
ya
feels
sabe.
comfortable, you know, y ya sabe a lo que va. Pero ahora sí he was nervous and I was nervous too because I was like, I don't know, you know, I haven't seen them. I know they've hung out a lot more and just been traveling together and stuff, but I don't know how it's gonna be for me, you know, because
But as
hace
soon as
mucho-
you got here, empezamos a platicar como si nada.
Como si no había pasado
Y
ningún
también yo
año.
siento que es because of social media because like even if we didn't see each other, we still know what's going on in our lives. So we still kept up with each other.
Yeah, and I think it's also nice that our husbands are parents too, you know, so they know like Rogelio
They're
con
such
Catalina.
dads.
Ahorita
Blanca
los
con
dejamos
Franco.
dormidos con ellos.
Literally. Exactly.
Ahí andan cuidándolos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y no es
and-
como que nada más pues te quedas con el niño y nosotros sin niños.
Exactly.
Todos tienen a sus niños ahí, todos en
Todos
la
están
casa.
ahí
In the living
estresados.
Yeah, todos
Seriously.
estresados.
Yeah, so basically it was just because you moved, you physically couldn't come here, we couldn't get together. Y yeah, well, you're here, y we can, vamos a
Here we are. Y de
recuperar los
aquí para
años
adelante.
perdidos.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, they say, how did you guys manage to stay in touch after all these years, especially with you in Mexico and
Social media.
Social media. And I think just reaching out, being in the same like journey in life of being moms.
Even like les digo, I know we didn't like talk every day to where like, oh, how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Like publicabas una foto, ahí está mi comentario, ahí está tu comentario. It was always like, yo sé que siempre han estado ahí
Yeah.
y es recíproco también. Like yo sé que así como va para allá, va para acá y viceversa. So
Y yo me acuerdo
that's really
cuando ya
important.
le quería quitar la chichi, I was like, ¿quién se la quitó? Oh, Ariadna.
yeah.
¿Qué hiciste? Dime, you know, because
Yeah.
I was so desperate, and just knowing that you came from a place of love too, you know,
Yeah.
and I was so comfortable. I was like, whatever she says, like it obviously works, you know, and it did work.
Yeah, getting advice from moms is always helpful.
This one says, as moms of two, how have you made sure to still enjoy your youth?
Traigo canas, girl.
You're like,
You know, I feel like that has been so hard because I didn't realize how young I am. I literally started crying like I think a month ago when I went to a photo shoot. And and there was another girl taking pictures too, and she had a cake and it said 23, and she looked so young, you know. And I was like, oh my God, you're 23, you're so young. And she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 23. And then I looked back and I just wanted to cry so bad because I was like, oh my God, why don't I feel like I'm 23? I feel like I'm 30. I feel like I'm not 23.
Because you're tired.
I just don't feel that I'm 23. I'm like, what are 23-year-olds doing right now? I have so much responsibility. I have so much, like, adult. I feel like right now, like, I'm like, I should have feeling like I'm a teenager. Like, people are barely, like, dating, finding, I don't know what they're doing, you know? But
Partying.
I was like, this year or next year, you know, or in December, I really want to just enjoy. I'm going to be 24. And I'm like, I'm barely realizing that I'm so young. Like, so young, girl.
Yeah.
And it's just because I feel like I went so fast. Like, so fast. Like, everything I did in my life, I should have been doing my whole spam of, like, my whole life. And I did it in 3 years.
If that's what happened, that, like, te casaste, like, te juntaste, los niños, todo, everything came so fast.
So fast.
And
I feel like
it's overwhelming, too,
Yeah.
because, like, suddenly you became a wife, you have to start cooking, cleaning, doing all the shebang for your husband, and then come the kids, you know? So it's a lot to take in at the same time. But yeah, I feel the same way, honestly. I feel like, and I don't even feel like I've enjoyed it, honestly, porque with 2 kids, I don't have the time, and I don't have the time to think about, oh, let me go enjoy myself. Like, sometimes to enjoy myself is going to the gym in the morning, and that's fine, you know, because that's what the time I have right now to do. Pero yo sí siento que si con un hijo te pierdes, con 2 te divides, it's so much harder. But yo sé que estamos jóvenes, yo sé que cuando ellos crezcan vamos a tener ese tiempo, and they say your 30s are your best years.
Yes.
So I always think about that, you know what, in my 30s when we're going to be a lot more stable financially in every way, you know. So en los 30 vamos a poder empezar a disfrutar otra vez. We're going to be feeling a little bit more free, which is the good part about having your kids back to back. Es muy difícil, es bien pesado, es bien cansado, pero cuando salen, pues salen juntos y ya tú puedes empezar a disfrutar otra vez, ¿verdad? Pero yo sí siento que mi esposo siempre quiso disfrutar nuestro noviazgo, viajar, que nos conociéramos, disfrutar, ir de fiesta y todo. Yo siempre quise ser mamá joven, you know? Y ahora sí digo, maybe he was right, you know, maybe we shouldn't have rushed it. And not that we rushed it, but yo siempre lo quise. Yo siempre dije, quiero ser mamá joven, quiero ser mamá joven. Y ahora digo, maybe hubiera disfrutado más el viajar con él solo y el ir de fiesta nosotros solos, you know? Porque ahora, aunque salgas de fiesta, you're still, oh, my babies are back home, are they okay, are they being fed, are they crying, are they going through something, si se caen o si se golpean, you know, it's always just, nunca vuelves a salir en paz. Por más que intentes disfrutar un minuto tú sola con tu esposo. Y también, how do y'all feel having babies affected your relationship with your husband?
I think that it's harder because the relationship was so new too. You know, it's like we had just gotten married. We were in our going out era, going to like traveling, and we had so many friends that were partying, and you would see all these events and you're like, oh my God, like why can't I do that? Like I got pregnant, I did this, I did that. And I think that at the end of the day, it's just accepting. You know, like I'm in my parent era y pues vas a salir, you know, thinking about us being 30 and they're going to be older and they're going to be more independent, maybe going to school. I'm like, by the time we're 30, we're going to be done, you know, and the 30s are the best years. Yeah. So we're going to be able to do so much. And then we already have our kids, you know, and I cannot imagine now that I already have my kids that I'm pregnant with my second one. I can't imagine like not having kids right now and then waiting till I'm 30 and I'm like, oh shit, like what do I do now? You know, I feel like pues todo pasa por algo. And I also think that social media has a lot of pressure because of the content you consume. You're like, well, they already get married, they're already having kids, they're already buying their house, they're already doing this, you know. And I think it's that pressure of just wanting to be there. And then I sit back and I think, well, they're 30 or they're 35. Like obviously they want to buy a house already. Obviously they want to have kids already, you know. And I think it's just that I never separated my age from the people that I watched either. So it was the pressures y pues también así lo quiso Dios y pues él tiene sus planes, ¿no?
Es el plan de cada quien. Pero ¿qué te iba a decir? Ya se me fue la onda. Pero I just think like whenever your relationship is so new, there's a lot of changes. Yeah, living with a person is already so different from like just dating, you know? And then kids come and then el tiempo que tenías para ustedes solos ahora ya no lo tienes porque ahora your baby is your focus. But I do also feel like having babies bring you more together. Like te hacen más unidos porque los dos aman ese bebé tanto que tienen algo tan en común. Es lo más en común que pueden tener tú y tu esposo, un hijo, you know? So, así como te aleja, también te une más. Y ahora te das cuenta que no tienes que estar pegado a tu esposo todo el día para sentirlo. Simplemente tienes una vida con él y yo digo que ayuda a madurar también una relación mucho porque ya no estás pensando en celos, en cosas tontas, ya estás enfocado en cosas más grandes, más importantes. So, I feel like babies do change the relationship a lot. pero así como puede ser para bien, puede ser para mal, you know?
Sí.
So you just gotta work through it, you know?
You gotta stay strong.
I feel like it definitely changes because when you're postpartum, after you have a baby, you're postpartum, you're never going to be the same person.
Ever.
And so when your husband sees you, he's like, who is this, you know? So he has to learn to love a new person.
Again, yeah.
And then when you're a second baby, it's like same thing. It's like a different person, you know? So you keep evolving, you keep changing as a person that you have to still, they have to learn to love you again. They have to learn to I feel like your love language starts changing as you grow, as you have kids. Like the way that they used to love you, it's not the same anymore. So it changes. I feel like you change as a person, so your relationship changes. So I feel like you just have to learn how to know them again, you know,
And to understand them.
Yeah, and I think well, for me, my love language changed so much after baby because now I feel like my love language is accessories. Like, yo prefiero que él me ayude a lavar los trastes a que me dé un beso porque it's just so much more helpful, you know, porque the baby's crying and then me washing the dishes and having to do laundry and all that, I just much rather him like take care of a part of that, you know. So yeah, and to him is like, ¿por qué cambiaste? O porque ya no quieres que no es que no quiero que seas cariñoso, pero primero lava los trastes, you know, like luego me das el beso. Yeah, and it's hard, but it's a lot more on the moms. Siempre va a ser mucho más pesado en las mujeres, pero también hay que saber apreciar a un hombre que te ayuda, porque simplemente, girl, I don't know how I would do it without his help, you know. Y también yo siento que el conocerlo como papá te hace valorarlo, te hace quererlo más de lo ves muy diferente también.
Yeah. I think what's hard is knowing that us as moms, our hormones change and we have the connection with the baby and they don't. Like the baby comes out and they're like, oh shit, like this baby is making my wife cry. They're making her sad, you know, and ellos no les cambia, no tienen that instinct. Like when I had Franco and he came out of my vagina, I was like, it was like a light switch. Like, I'm a mom. I have all these feelings. I know what to do. I need to feed you. When they're crying, you're like, oh, es que quieren esto, es que quieren lo otro, you know? And for dads, it's so different because they don't know. They don't know that feeling. They didn't have 9 months to connect with them. So I think that it changes your relationship so much because when you're postpartum with your first baby as first-time parents, I feel like us as moms are like, well, why don't you feel this? Or why don't you know how to do this? Or why don't you know that he wants food and not to go to sleep, you know?
Like to us it's common sense.
Exactly.
And to them it's like, okay, I just don't know.
Yeah,
exactly. So they have to learn how to live with a new baby plus a new person that they're like, everything changes. So I think that it's very hard for us to get lost in that. So I would always just advise to have more compassion towards the dads too.
As well, yeah.
If they're trying, you know, if they're being asked on that, pues,
out the window.
Yeah, ya los entiendo.
I also like feel like I don't know if you understand because I see that you're so alone and how I'm alone too, and so it's hard to like have alone time with your husband, you know. Like I know you have like with your mom, so it's such a big help, and I'm just like, I just wish, you know. So for us, I don't know. I think for you, like
having alone time.
Yeah, like it's like we literally had to ask someone, can you come?
Yeah.
And it's like it's just so much easier not to do it. It's so much easier not to go out. It's so much easier just to like be with the baby all day and like not make that extra effort and going calling someone and can you please come? I think we want to go out, and we feel, I don't know, I feel like a burden to someone else to be.
It makes it so much harder.
So much harder. So it's like easier not to have that alone time with your husband.
Yeah, como que lo vas dejando de un lado. Yeah, for sure.
Y ellos lo sienten también, like. To us, it's normal. Okay, the baby needs us.
Yeah, yo sí me siento muy mal, fíjate, because my husband, after a baby girl, he did become much more loving and stuff, but I'm just so tired, you know, and that's the hardest conversation to have because it's like, you're not the problem. I'm just tired. Like the babies soak up all my energy and I just can't find time to like actually want to go do something or actually, you know, want to be together like intimately. Tampoco porque, like, girl, we've tried, but llora uno, llora el otro, like, los dejamos en la sala, they come knocking at the door, like, wanting to knock it down. It's so hard. Y luego, like, I'm sure he understands también, it's like, también, pues están ahí también, pero para una mamá es más como, oh my God, they're crying, y ya no te enfocas, you know, it's so hard, but, yeah, I feel like, desde que nos movimos para acá, I was telling them we've gone out once, and we just don't think about planning to go out, you know? And it's because of that, because also when you have 2 kids, you're like, oh my God, ¿cómo le voy a encargar a alguien 2 niños? Porque tú ya sabes lo pesado que es tener 2 niños. So I'm like, sí, yo sé que si se lo dejo a mi mamá, se va a volver loca con los 2 niños, así como me vuelvo yo
feel
loca.
Like a burden or
Yeah.
like que cansados van a estar.
Ajá.
So te llevas uno. Dejas uno, pero te llevas uno.
Yeah,
you
y
know?
pues de todos modos no comes si no comes a gusto, no disfrutas, you know. Pero sí es pesado pero también hay que recordar siempre, you always have to like feed your relationship, porque también es algo bien importante que uno de repente se olvida de tu relación, y recuerden que cuando los niños se vayan, te quedas tú con tu esposo, you know, so you need to keep that connection alive, which I know is so hard, but kids will grow and we need to come back to like our partners, porque es lo que el que va a seguir ahí al final del día.
And learn how to communicate that too, because I feel like if you're both on the same page, knowing, okay, we're in the era where we can't have sex every day, we're in the era where we can't just like lay down and cuddle because we have to take care of these kids, and as long as you both understand it and you know that pues van a crecer, you know, it's not going to be like this for the rest of our life. I think that's really helpful too, and like también just letting them know like I love you so much, thank you for doing all of this for me, and just reassuring them like it's just because I'm tired, you know.
Yeah, and I think like for Jorge, le digo, amor, estoy cansada, like no tengo energía, I'm sorry, not right now, ahorita lo que quiero es ya dormirme, es descansar. Si tengo if I have 10 minutes of alone time, I just want to rest. Yeah, like that's all I want. Yo no pienso en, you know, all of that porque estoy cansada. That to me is more tiring, you know? And yeah, I mean, comes pleasure and stuff, pero es cansado. And yo también me dice, vamos a ver una película, me quiero dormir. Like, prefiero dormir, prefiero descansar. And it's such a hard conversation to have with your husband también, pero yo sé que si lo entienden, de repente se enojan o algo, se molestan, pero tienen que entenderlo.
Nomás viene a acostarte conmigo, no, que tengo tantas cosas que ya acaban de verse los niños y tengo miles de cosas que hacer.
Así me dice.
Like, nomás cuéstate, lo haces mañana. Y yo, mañana no, mañana se van a levantar and I just need to do it now.
Yeah,
like, no,
and literally Jorge would tell me, en cuanto me acuesto contigo, ¿te acuerdas que tienes que hacer 1000 cosas? No, es que sí, me he acordado todo el día, pero no tengo tiempo, you know. Y yo también soy así como que, I can do it tomorrow. No, I have to get it done now. Y I think that's like a man stuff. Like they just, you can leave it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Pero yo no estoy tranquila sabiendo que tengo que lavar ropa, que tengo que, you know, limpiar or whatever.
And I think it has to do a lot que también trabajamos en la casa.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
sure.
if I don't do it now, ¿cuándo lo voy a hacer? Like,
how do y'all feel like being like working from home moms?
Stay-at-home working moms. I think it's hard. It's hard, but it's a blessing, you know. I could not be more thankful. And every single time someone tells me like, how do you do it, or how do you do different things, I'm like, I have such a strong village, and I have my mom, and the difference is that my mom only has Franco. Like my sisters are young and my brother doesn't have kids, you know. So it's like she lives and breathes for Franco because it's su primer nieto, you know. And my mom and I have always been close, and my mom literally gives her life for her kids. If my sisters had kids or when they have kids, she's gonna go and be with them 24/7. She was like that with my aunts, anybody that needed her postpartum, she was there. And I think it's different with your daughter. So I feel grateful and thankful and blessed that I have my mom, and I don't feel guilty for it. I used to be like, damn, like these people are right, like I have so much help, but I'm like, I'm not gonna.
You're so lucky.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm not gonna feel guilty for the life that God gave me, you know? So I'm just taking it all in, and it's hard. And I mean, being home all day and not having an office to go to, and not having, you know how like you can't leave from 9 to 5 and then come home and have time with your kids, because I feel like even though you're home and say it's like 5 and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm done editing, you like get there and like, well, I still have to upload, I still have to reply to the comments, I have to check if this, you know, and you have so much things to do. So I feel like we're working 24/7. Don't you feel like that?
I love my job, and and I'm so grateful that I get to stay home and be with my kids, because I cannot imagine going out and having to live in with someone.
Yeah.
Like the thought is just so scary. So I'm so grateful, y gracias a Dios que tengo ese trabajo, que me puedo quedar con ellos. But I feel like the hardest thing is that I feel every time because yo estoy sola con los niños, ¿verdad? So cuando yo estoy trabajando, yo estoy en la computadora o en el teléfono, and I feel so guilty que ellos creen que no le estoy poniendo atención.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the hardest part, que le estoy quitando el tiempo y ellos no entienden qué estoy haciendo, que estoy en mi teléfono, que estoy en la computadora, pero estoy trabajando, you know. So me siento culpable estar trabajando. So when I'm working, I'm like, I know I'm working, but I feel guilty for doing it, you know.
Y ni trabajas a gusto también.
Y lo trabajo a medias. 10 minutos, okay, quiere esto, voy a ir 10 minutos y lo hago.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
So por eso I feel like I had to ask for help. este mes que estoy haciendo vlogmas, ay, suegra, por favor, si me puede venir. Y para mí era una vergüenza, you know, que she had to come all the way from Mexico. Y gracias a Dios que ella, pues también, ella me dice, estoy bien feliz de estar aquí, me siento útil, me siento, son mis nietos. Y yo, gracias por estar aquí, ¿no? Siempre, cada segundo que los cuidas, gracias, making sure que, porque yo sé que me está ayudando and I feel guilty for her helping me, because I'm like, y los oigo llorar y yo estoy trabajando y los voy a agarrar y mi suegra me dice, no, tú estás trabajando, y yo, ahorita yo estoy aquí, yo estoy aquí para ayudarte. I'm like, I feel like, los oigo.
Es que no sabes dejarte ayudar.
Ajá, no sé cómo. So if I left the house, like I wouldn't hear them. I wouldn't know that they're crying. But I'm there, so lo estoy escuchando.
And I think it's so different because I've known people who actually go like to like family that go to like a 9-to-5 job. Y de repente dice, oh my God, aunque tenga mis days off, I'd rather go to work. Honestly, because going to work, yeah, I might be hard. I'm not saying like, you know, menosprecio, you know, no, obviamente cada quien trabaja como puede y como le funciona, pero la gente que sale a trabajar, tan solo salir de tu casa is already a huge step. Like getting ready to go to work is already getting your day started, you know, and then you get free time from the kids. Obviously, you come home tired. I'm sure you come home tired. Pero, por ejemplo, nosotros, en nuestro trabajo también es como mental, you know, porque siempre pensando en qué más puedo subir, qué más contenido puedo grabar, qué les va a gustar ver, what else can I do, how can I do more, you know, so you're always just thinking, and then at the same time, the kid's crying over here, the kid's making a mess and stuff, and then on top of that, like working on the computer, editing, recording, all that stuff, it's just a lot. So yeah, people have told me I'd rather go to work even on my days off because it's más de pesada el trabajo en la casa. And it is, like, your job at home never ends.
Yeah. And the hard part too is that you get home from your job and you're like, oh shit, I still have work at home, you know? And I think that that's like the conversation that a lot of stay-at-home moms have with working dads, because it's like they come home and they're like, oh, no hiciste nada todo el día. You're like, you didn't see that I had to cook and clean and look at the kids and do this and that. And
I think it's also so hard when your husband goes out to work too, porque, por ejemplo, estábamos en México, Jorge llegaba bien tarde de trabajar, pero I was just waiting for him to get home so I could get a little bit of help, but he would come home so tired, so I would feel so bad. Like, he would come exhausted and I would be like, but I'm just waiting for you to just help me a little bit out, you know? Pero llegaba bien cansado and ya bien tarde, ya pues yo seguía cuidando a los niños, you know? So it was just like a never-ending thing. And that's also so hard, like understanding. I know you're going out to do your part, but I'm also doing my part at home, you know? So también yo sé que hay muchos hombres que llegan y no, yo ya trabajé, ya tu problema es la casa, el problema son los niños, y ellos llegan y se duermen y así, ¿verdad? And that's also so hard because the job at home is also like just as hard, and people don't understand that. Like you can be cleaning all day, like going after the kids all day, and the house is just never going to be
still
clean.
a disaster.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%.
But I feel like what house have helped me is like asking for help and paying extra, like cleaning ladies. Es lo que me ha ayudado a mí, porque I feel like I've always been so embarrassed to ask for help. But I'm like, I'm not a superhero. No puedo hacer todo, you know. I need to, si yo puedo agarrar ayuda, lo voy a agarrar. And I feel like slowly I've been starting to let go, porque it was guilty. I feel like there's a lot of mom guilt. A lot of people pressuring you, because you're a mom, you have to do it all.
Exactly. And I give props to every mom, working moms, stay-at-home moms, anything, because being a mom, period, is hard, and it's a job in itself. And if you have a job outside of being a mom, then that's 10 times harder, you know. But I agree in that sense too, because I've gotten comments when they're like, how do you say you're so busy but you have help? I'm like, because whether I'm busy at home or at work, I'm still like doing things to bring an income, you know, and doing things to help my whole family salir adelante, no nomás yo, you know.
I feel like they don't understand that we're the caretakers. That no, everything's in our shoulders. That que todo, everything.
Yeah, I mean,
todo el movimiento de la casa lo haces tú, exactamente.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Y aparte ser like a full-time mom.
Yeah, y la verdad yo sí les recomiendo, like, sí, yo no soy el consejo, mucha gente me lo dijo, pero lleven su vida poco a poquito, ¿verdad? Porque es cierto, tienes mucho tiempo para ser mamá, mucho tiempo para casarte, pero tus mejores años, tus años de juventud nunca van a regresar. So yo sí les digo, mira, si no estás lista para casarte, don't rush it. If you're not ready to just be home and take care of your husband, take care of your kids, like do all the home stuff, just don't rush it, you know, be careful, you know, enjoy life. And cada quien tiene su tiempo. Everyone's timeline is very different and it's valid, you know.
Los tiempos de Dios son perfectos.
Sí, los tiempos de Dios son perfectos for sure. Y yo también, por más difícil que sea y más complicado, yo no veo mi vida de otra manera, you know. And yo siempre, I just knew by the time, yo siempre dije, by 2018, when I'm 18, hopefully I'm already married, I'm starting to have a family. Yo siempre visualicé eso para mí, ¿no?
You manifested it.
Obviamente, yo lo manifesté, pero yo no sabía la chinga que era, you know. Y yo sí les digo,
y aunque la gente te dice miles y miles de veces que es una chinga, que es lo más difícil, nunca te lo vas a escuchar.
Pretty. It just sounds so pretty, you know.
Hasta que lo vives.
Es que se ve bonito. Oh my God, they live together, they wake up together every morning. Oh my God.
La fantasía de que, ay, es que quiero
and babies are so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, baby fever. Yes, but do you understand that your baby's gonna wake you up at 3 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 9 in the morning? You're not gonna sleep well. You're never gonna be in peace again. Like,
pero nosotros, aunque supimos la primera vez, todavía lo hicimos la segunda.
Otra vez,
porque
ahí vamos.
Sabemos que
nos encanta
like,
la
no matter
vida.
how hard is it, the love multiplies.
So rewarding.
Todo, it's just so worth it that you do it over and over for them again. And if you have to wake up tomorrow, you do it again. And if you have to clean this house again, you rather have them my house a mess, but if they're having fun, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yes,
Same.
and honestly, like yo, aunque así cuando me ha tocado salir con mi esposo a disfrutar, the best part is coming home to my babies, and I just
love
love
the
them.
reaction.
I miss them so. Yeah, and now that they're getting bigger, like reaccionan, you know, te extrañaron, te abrazan, te reciben, and it's so rewarding. And being a mom is honestly the best thing that has happened to me. But it's also really hard, and a lot of people always come to me, but like come at me, más bien, porque I always I complain, girl. I like, oh my God, I'm going through it. I cannot believe, like, feel drained. I just, whatever is going through my head, yo lo publico y me dicen, ¿por qué te quejas tanto? ¿Para qué te embarazabas? Okay, no quiere decir que porque me quejo, porque mi vida no es perfecta, porque tengo un día malo, quiere decir que no amo a mis hijos, ni que me arrepiento. Jamás me voy a arrepentir de mis hijos porque son lo mejor que me ha pasado en la vida. And a mother's love is nothing can compare, you know, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And before, you know, oh my God, what do y'all think about girls that get pregnant to like keep a man?
Well, I've always said that it doesn't work.
That doesn't work. And I mean, honestly, if you're trying to keep a man just by getting pregnant, te vas a quedar tú con la chinga. Like nothing can make a man stay.
Y lo que siempre le digo a Jonathan's like, I'm my mom, dude. Like, I remember my mom being like, todo su tiempo, ¿para qué quieres novio? ¿Para qué quieres salirte de la casa? ¿Para qué quieres hacer esto? Yo, I wanna wake up next to him, and I wanna live together. I wanna be married.
To grow up.
And I wanted to grow up so fast. And mom's like, it's gonna come. You're eventually gonna get married. You're eventually gonna have kids. Like, just wait, because they know where they're coming from, you know, especially our parents getting pregnant so young, married so young. And now that's all I can say. It's like, listen.
We sound like such moms, right?
Señoras to the max.
Yeah, and we were talking about this because I feel like once we became moms, we value our moms more as well. Like, es cierto, cuando tienes tus hijos, entiendes muchas cosas. Cuando tienes tus hijos, everything changes.
You got closer to your mom when you got pregnant, when you had babies?
For sure. I value her so much more, and I feel like now that I see my sisters talking bad to her, I'm just like, what are you doing? You're so disrespectful. How dare you, know? Like, my mom does everything for you. She cooks for you. She cleans for you. She everything, dude. How dare you come and talk to her like that, you know? Like, uno nunca valora. When estamos en nuestros años rebeldes, no sabemos, pero ya cuando creces te das cuenta que realmente your parents are angels, dude. Like, they do everything for you. And like, yo me acuerdo cuando yo me fui a México, mi mamá me lloraba y me lloraba y me lloraba, and I was just so le decía, mamá, yo estoy feliz, you know. But now that I think about it, I'm like, my mom like missed me, you know. She didn't want me to leave, and I was just so rude, and no me importó y me fui con una persona porque estaba enamorada, pero mi mamá estaba enamorada de mí, you know, y yo la dejé sin importarme nada, sin importar que ella me llorara, que ella me rogara que no me fuera. Yo me fui porque estaba enamorada, you know. And it's so hard to understand, like, now que tengo mis hijos, no quiero que mis hijos me dejen nunca, you know. Like, imagine one day ya me voy ya no y luego más a México, so like, mi mamá sí iba a visitarme seguido, pero de todos modos, like, llega a pasar algo y no puede estar ahí luego. Es muy difícil. Y ahora yo sí digo, qué malagradecida fui. ¿Cómo no vi mi mamá estaba sufriendo, y a mí no me importó porque, no que no me importara, pero para mí era más importante estar con mi esposo. Y pues gracias a Dios todo salió bien y sí me casé con él y tenemos hijos y seguimos juntos. Pero imagínate, like, make your mom go through that para después, si vale madre, like, al final del día, los que van a estar ahí son tus papás.
Exacto.
Siempre. Yo
Para
sé,
todo.
y yo sé que I'm so blessed that our parents are there, and siempre van a estar. Pero que yo sé que si algún día algo sale mal, yo puedo regresar a casa sin ningún problema. Like my dad has told me, if anything ever goes wrong, I will raise your kids. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So, bro, I'm not pregnant. I'm just emotional.
Shout out to your dad.
Shout out to my dad, yeah. And I just feel like es importante saber que, there's people that are like, yo ya me salí a la casa, no puedo regresar. I know if something ever goes wrong, I can come back home.
Exactly. You have your safe space to go back
Yeah.
to. I know, I'll cry. Okay, this one says, this one's always going to be the question. Do you guys want to have more babies?
No nos ven.
Yo antes decía, como cuando estaba embarazada, ay no, cuando Isabel, no, ya terminé. Y ahora, ya que Isabel ya está creciendo, I'm like, am I never going to have a newborn again? But I'm like, I'm so young. Ahorita obvio que no quiero. Ahorita en este momento no quiero. Pero yo no sé cuando tenga 30 años si y mi pensamiento, ya no digo no. Unas veces digo que no, cuando hay días difíciles, digo, oh, hell no, I'm never having kids. Pero cuando ya, como ahorita digo, I don't know, I just don't know, lo que Dios quiera.
Sí.
Pero ahorita no.
Sí,
Ahorita
es
en
lo
este
que yo
momento.
digo también, porque me dicen...
Soy bien joven.
Ajá, estamos muy jóvenes y es lo bueno que tenemos tiempo para decidir si queremos tener más hijos. Pero la verdad, ahorita tener un tercer bebé, ahorita, con 2 bebés ya, no podría, la verdad. Siento que me volvería loca. It would not be healthy for me, honestly, because it's so draining. How about you?
I don't think that it's a good time to answer the question porque con Franco pues yo decía one and done. And then I was like, no, pues ¿sabes qué? Porque te dicen, cuando cumplan un año vas a querer, te va a llegar la espinita de que hay otro porque you already know the love you have for one kid. And when I got pregnant, and obviously it was a surprise, I was happy and I was like, okay, yeah, I did want another one, and I'm glad that I didn't have to plan it. Like it just came as a surprise. It wasn't God's plan. And now I'm like, I don't even know because todos dicen, first of all, girls are crazy. Second of all, your second child is crazy. So a mí se me juntaron las dos, So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how she's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be with both of them. Hearing both of you guys, like you guys talk to me about your experience in a positive way. And you tell me it's hard, but you're going to love it. It's hard, but it's so rewarding, And knowing that makes me feel so calm because I just know that we're made for this. We're made to do this and to keep it going,
I feel like no matter how many kids are, it's going to be hard, but you're going to love all of them. So no matter if you have 5 kids and it's the freaking hardest thing in the world, lo vas a amar.
still gonna do
and
it.
That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, when I was pregnant with Isaiah, I was like, why? Like, why am I pregnant? This is so hard. And he came out, I'm like, I love him. So if I got pregnant again, like, I'm just going to love them.
would do
Like,
it
it
all
does
over
not
again.
matter how freaking hard and how challenging it is. You're just going to love this baby so freaking much. And I didn't know that until I had, like, I love so much Catalina, but I was like, when I was pregnant with Isabel, I was like, how am I going to love another baby? It's impossible to love another baby because I love Catalina so much. I don't know, I'm going to love this another baby. Isabel came as a switch.
Yeah.
I saw him and I knew
It
I was
multiplied.
obsessed and I love him so much. Same as Catalina. So I'm like, it's going to happen with the third baby.
Exactly.
If I have a third baby,
And honestly, like,
It's just
it's
like,
true. Like, yo siempre
just
preguntaba, ¿ya
know.
cuál hijo quieres más? Dude, you love your kids the same. Y son muy diferentes los niños. So, es un amor, es igual de fuerte, pero diferente para cada quien. Porque cada quien,
yeah, it's like, I don't know how to explain it.
it just multiplies. It doesn't divide, it multiplies. Yeah.
And it's like you love them the same, but in a different way. I don't
in
know.
a different way. Yeah, porque cada quien tiene su personalidad.
And you love them like the way they look like to be loved, I guess.
Yes,
Like,
it's different. Because, like, for example, like, my baby boy, he's loving, te abraza, te besa, and that's how I love him. Y mi niña, ella quiere que la aviente, because ella quiere que la aviente al sillón, like, she's crazy. Ella te tira fregazos, and that's how she likes to play. Y ayer me decía Jorge, a sí le divierte que le pegues, like, no que le pegues literal, pero like pelear and like
Así está Catalina,
que
rough.
seas ruda. Yeah, like rough love. Then that's how you gotta do it, girl. Like, Yeah, but good
You have
luck,
to
girl.
cater. Thanks, girl. I was telling them yesterday. I was like, when I was getting Franco ready for the baby shower, I like stood. He like ran into the room because no se quería cambiar, right? So me paré en la puerta and I was like, fuck this. This is it. I'm having 2 kids and I'm never getting pregnant again. Jonathan's getting a vasectomy. Yeah, se acabó, you know, because I was like, I cannot imagine getting 2 toddlers ready for a baby shower. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si uno se me va para allá y el otro para acá?
No,
I feel like
espérense.
when you have rough days, you're like, okay, I'm done. And
Literally.
then there are nice days, and you're like, oh my god, another.
I know. He's all hugging me. I'm like, okay, I want 10 more.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think the best thing that I've learned this far in my life, in my 25 years, is to just not say anything.
Never
Porque
say never.
yo digo algo and I could be pregnant again
y
next
Dios
year.
dice, a ver si es cierto.
Exactly.
¿Quién
Dios is like,
manda?
yo ya te tengo 5 hijos aquí lined up, ready for you, you know?
And you're gonna love every single one.
And you're gonna do it because I like think about it, right? And I'm like, I feel so blessed again to have my mom, but I'm like, how did she do it? Like, se vino a los Estados Unidos sola. No tenía mi abuelita, no tenía nadie. And she did it with 2 my sisters or back to back, like less than a year apart, you know? And I'm like, how did she do it? And then I think about it, I'm like, if she did it, like obviously we're meant to do this and we can do this. And if we were to have, because I was like, what if I have twins? Like I would go crazy, you know? But it's like, you're meant to do it. And God only gives you what you can handle. So I'm like, yeah, lo que no voy a decir nada porque no se me cumple.
I feel like people ask me, like, how do you do it? You just don't know. You just do it.
just do
There's no way, like, I could be like, you have to do this. You
These
just
steps,
do
yeah, no.
it. Every day, just one day at a time. Sometimes when I think about in the future, like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. My therapist like, stop thinking about tomorrow. When you have 2 kids or more, every day is different. Every day, like, sometimes there's a whole routine. And then the next day, there's no routine. And the next day, life is perfect. And the day, I'm like chaotic. Every day, just one day at a time, and you're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
But what I can say, I mean, I know Isael todavía no está tan grande y baby girl todavía no nace, but seeing your oldest baby be like the oldest kid, like the oldest sibling, oh my God, dude, like I could cry every time I see Sebastián loving on my baby girl, on Chesid. Oh my God, like la abraza, la besa, la cuida, like si él se va a un lado le dice ven, ahí si ve que ella se va por otro lado va por de ella y se la trae y la cuida, you know, and it's just so cute, like it's y darle un little best friend, you know, él nunca van a volver a estar solos, van a tener siempre a su little bestie. Y ahora yo siento feo, no me gusta separarlos, o sea, llevarme a uno y dejar a otro, no, porque yo siento que entre ellos hacen compañía, so they feel safe within each other, you know.
Y se conocen y saben.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly your video when you explained how you felt when you were pregnant with Isael. And you were like, I just feel so sad that, like, it's taking my time away from her. Like, you're never going to be with her by herself. And then I, like, started talking to my friends about it when I was pregnant. And they're like, well, don't you think about how he's never going to remember, like, being by themselves? Like, it's always going to be him and his little sister. Y ya. Like, you are giving them a best friend for life. That's someone that's going to be
Ellos
there
no van a recordar una
forever.
vida sin su hermano.
Exactly.
Every time, like, now that my suegra takes care of Isael, if I go out, I always take Catalina with me. Like, I don't ever leave the 2 kids together because it's, like, chaotic. So I'll take Catalina every single time I put her in the car. Hermano, ¿dónde está hermano? ¿Dónde está hermano?
And it's like they don't remember when it wasn't.
No, like she would just ask for him all the time. And like I cannot live with her without, she's like wondering, taking care of him. ¿Dónde está?
Y aparte, they're never going to be bored again.
Exactly.
Porque se van a hacer compañía. And, oh my God, like, Sebastián es bien tranquilito, pero she's crazy. So, Sebastián puede estar sentado y ve a Shazid arriba de la mesa y se va arriba con ella. And they're just always there. They make a mess together. They go to sleep together. They wake up together. They get sick together too, which is the worst part about it.
Oh my God, that is
Se
like
enferman
I
juntos.
think that's the worst part about having two. Que uno se enferma, el otro se va a enfermar. So having 2 sick babies,
It's so hard.
so hard.
Yeah.
Y luego tú te enfermas y como
Yeah,
3 sick
esos
babies.
días, y yo ya sé, cuando se enferma uno, yo ya sé que sigue el otro, and you just gotta prepare for it, but
You just have to go with the flow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest advice is having two babies is take it day by day.
Yeah, don't stress too
Do
much. And
not.
I know, like, right now you're like on a really set routine with Franco,
I know.
but it's gonna throw you off cuando venga la niña, pero
I think that was my fear, because I was like, I am so set on my routine with Franco. I have time for myself. I have time to work. I have time to do everything. And I'm just prepared. Like, I'm like, okay, when she's born, I have to let go of any routine I had, of anything that I had in my mind that I thought it was gonna be, because it's gonna be chaos. And I'm glad that I have you guys to tell me, like, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. And the first, like you said, it's gonna get hard before it gets easy. And you said the first month is gonna be hard. So I'm like, okay, just prepare. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, just have no expectations.
Yeah, I feel like no
expectations.
expectations.
Yeah. And that's how it was, like, going into to give birth for Franco. I remember being like, I don't have a plan because I don't want to be disappointed. So that's how I feel now. Like, I don't want to have a plan for when she's born because I don't want to be disappointed, and I don't want to feel bad, and because we're already gonna feel guilty.
Like, I'd rather be like, think like, oh, it's gonna be hard, and then be like, oh my god, this isn't as hard.
Yes.
And be like, okay, I got this.
You know what was the hardest thing for me? When I went to give birth to Chessy, leaving Sebastián behind.
Oh my God.
That was like the first part. I was like, aquí empieza like el tenerlo que hacer un poquito a un lado, you know? And esa noche I just remember when I came home, like, it was just so different. Like, oh, dude, when you come home with a newborn, tu
so
bebé se hace grande, se ve así.
You're like, who is this child?
Well, it's because you compare it to a newborn, like a little, like, fragile newborn, you know? Your toddler is big, like a big kid.
I'm so nervous for that, but that's why I'm so glad pretty to have you guys, because I watch your vlogs and I'm always like, how is she doing it, you know? And it's just nice to know that I can do it, you know? I'm like, si estoy embarazada y si voy a tener otra es por algo, y ya. Yeah, I think it's just accepting.
Dios no te va a dar algo que no vas a poder.
Exactly. And just like accepting where you are in life. I think that that's a big thing, and not having expectations for anything, because even before, like, you get married and have kids, you have expectations, no? Like, oh, being married is going to be so butterflies and rainbows. And then you get married and you're like, what the fuck did I do? You know, because you don't know how hard it is.
Like, you go into it thinking it's all butterflies and pink hearts and shit. It's not, girl. Like, it's like, hard. Tan solo vivir con una persona, like, completely different backgrounds, completely different cultures, like,
you were raised differently.
Yeah, just living with someone is already so hard. Yeah, but it's okay, girl, we got it. Like, we're here complaining, but we're happy. Yeah, we're happy. How do y'all feel, like, mentally right now?
I feel really good. I think that my mental health is really stable right now, and I'm trying my best, you know, but I am also starting therapy, because I think that whether it's good or not, like, I have to have someone to talk to, someone that's unbiased, and someone that, like Jonathan, like, I can tell him so much, but I don't want him to be biased and be like, no, babe, it's okay, whatever, because I just, I need someone to tell me, like, hey, this is how it is, and for someone that doesn't know our relationship to be like, well, you have to be more this or more that, you know, because I feel like you get caught in comparing yourself to other people on social media, and nobody puts their bad things on social media, you know, nobody puts when they're fighting with their husband, nobody puts when their toddler is having a tantrum. So it's like, I need to go to therapy, not because I feel like my mental health is in a bad state, it's because I feel like there's a lot that's going on, and I need to work through it and talk through it, you know.
I'm so happy for you. I think therapy is the best thing you could ever do.
And I've
for
seen
yourself,
the work
for
that
your
it does for
marriage,
you.
For your kids. Yeah. And I love that for you.
Yeah, having a healthy mom is the
best thing.
Part of, like, everything, you know. If mom's happy, babies are happy, husband is happy. La mamá siempre es el pilar del hogar, y si la mamá se cae, todo se cae. So, yeah, just always, I mean, I know it's hard to take care of ourselves and our mental health when you have so much going on with the kids, but do it somehow, girl. Like, yo no digo que lo hago muy seguido así, pero si hay días que I just talk to myself, like in the shower, whatever, just, lo estás haciendo bien, todo va a estar bien, los niños están bien, like, you're doing what you can and it's enough, you know, and simply that. Y también yo siento que también en las redes sociales, people expect so much out of you, and it's so hard to keep up with these expectations because, girl, like, nadie te enseña a ser mamá, you know? And like, people online, they just seem to be like the perfect moms, I guess. And I don't know dónde le enseñaron para ir a esa escuela, porque I need some help. Invítame, yeah.
How do you feel, my love, with your mental health?
Gracias a Dios, siento que por fin ya me estoy sintiendo mejor. I look back at the pictures and I remember how foggy I was in postpartum, how foggy I was a couple of months ago. And I feel like now, I'm in the peak where I'm like, I'm getting out of this.
Girl, and you're glowing.
Let me tell you, you look beautiful, dude. Yes. Like, your outfits are popping, your makeup, like, you just look beautiful. And
the way you carry yourself también, like, we can see it. And
you are a queen.
Yeah, you are in your best era. Knowing you for so long, right now, I'm like, this is peak Lulu. Like, this is you.
I feel like I have never felt as I felt right now. And I feel like it has a lot to do, like, I am starting to put myself first. I'm starting to do things I never done before, and starting to think of myself, and starting to just, my therapy has helped a lot, and the gym has helped a lot.
And taking care
And
of
just
yourself.
taking care of myself.
Well, we see it. And your hard work
and
is
you
so
deserve
noticed.
it. Yeah, because I know you do so much, Lulu, and you're such like a motivation. I feel like
Thank you.
to us, we're your followers, we're your fans, you know, and just seeing your content and how well put together you are, I'm like,
And how you did all of this while having 2 kids and being a stay-at-home mom.
and a business owner
And a business
everything,
owner.
you know, like
You
cook, you clean, you do the
do
thing,
the
girl,
damn
you do
thing.
everything.
I'm like, ¿qué hizo Lulu ahora? Because I want, like, se me
Yeah.
antoja lo que comen and everything. Like, and especially being at your house, like when I go visit you, I'm like, this girl, like you're like, pues le voy a hacer una sopita y le voy a echar
you were
así,
the
así. I'm
first
like,
one to buy your house, a huge house, girl, like
literally a
everything
beautiful
perfect. Yeah, yo veía tus videos cuando remodeling your house, and I'd be like, oh my, y le enseñaba a Jorge, mira, like I'm obsessed, like I love it, like she's changing everything, and it was just so motivating for me to get my house, you know, and just know that your work doesn't go unnoticed. Y aunque like no lo escuches todos los días, tienes que saberlo. Y yo sé que tú me has dado mis platiquitas a mí. You're making me feel so much more motivated now, but people follow you for a reason, you know, and you are that person people look up to for a reason, you know, and don't feel like stress or don't feel the pressure. Just do what makes you happy and what fulfills your heart right now, you know.
I feel like I forgot to mention, I think the biggest thing that I have changed in my life recently that I feel like has fulfilled me more than has ever fulfilled me is God.
oh yeah.
I think I have never gotten closer to him ever, and I feel like everything I've gone through in the past, I feel like I always say, like, thank you, God, for putting me that, because I would have never wanted to get close to you if I didn't go through these things. And I feel like getting close to him, like, I feel like I've always tried to do things to fulfill myself, shop, read, or anything, but it has never fulfilled me this way. And it has gave me a peace that I have never felt before. And I feel like everyone has noticed this peace. That I just feel like anything could happen, anyone could tell me things, and nothing is gonna bother me because God is with me, and He reassures me. Okay,
He's your strength.
Yeah, He's my strength.
Yeah, we love to see it, girl. You look amazing,
and you're influencing people to do it too. I see your comments.
I started
like,
going to the gym because of you
too.
too.
And I think that you just influence people to. They're like, okay, well, she's at her peak not only because she went to the gym or because she looks her best, but because you incorporated God into your life, and we see that it's shining through you. So thank you.
And I feel like I've been asking God to use me as His instrument.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do I do this? And I feel like just now, like talking about Him, it's just like He's using me in a way that at least if one person hears me, they're gonna know.
And when we ask you for advice, we know that it's Him speaking through you too, because I'm like, oh damn, like I got it. And when you're telling me, like, you don't make it seem negative. You're always like, well, I did this and this and this, but you're gonna love it. Like, it's gonna be amazing. And
I hope I never come out as like, I want to scare you and I want a negative, because I just, as much as it's chaotic and hard, I just know you're gonna do it, and it's gonna be the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah, that's what I tell her too. Like, I know I might seem negative, and I'm telling you, it's just the truth. I don't want you to think you're gonna come into like this sugar-coated world and then be surprised, you know, porque es lo que pasa muchas veces con las mamás, que we see everything looks perfect with butterflies and shit, and then you come into and you're like, why is it like this? I didn't think it was like this. So yo también te digo, like, it's hard, but at the same time, dude, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna do the thing because you're a mom, and you were meant to be a mom, and God set you that little baby for a reason, you know. So
and I'm so glad she's here.
Me too.
So
I'm
glad.
so excited.
I prayed so hard for her.
I know. I remember, and I talked about it. Do you remember that? I remember when I went through that miscarriage, and Lulu was like, okay, let's pray. Give me your hands, let's pray. And I was like, oh,
and I feel like at that moment I wasn't as close to him, so I didn't know how to pray for you.
But you did it.
And I know, and I felt after that, I was like, why didn't I say more things? Why didn't I say, like, I went home and I asked for help on how to pray for you and how do I do
But just because you didn't say it, God knew what you felt and what you meant.
When you told me that, oh my God, I'm still pregnant, I was like, oh my God, like, gracias.
Like, I prayed for you.
So
I
happy.
know.
No, it wasn't even me, it was God.
Exactly.
So
it was literally, everyone
God.
talks about it. Like, it was God, and it was a miracle, and you're pregnant, and this baby is meant for something amazing. You know?
She is meant. She's coming to His world, and she's gonna rock
strong,
you.
girl.
She's gonna rock your world.
Thanks, girl. She already
And
is.
house, everything.
She's meant to be here.
Yeah.
I know. She's
Yeah,
here for a reason.
I'm so glad we get to experience the best of both worlds,
Me
like having your baby
too.
boy,
Yeah.
baby girl. It's just the best thing ever.
Yes, and I'm so glad that I have friends like you guys that are in the same era and that I can tell you like, hey, come over and come visit me and stay here and please bring your kids because I'm just so happy I have you guys, and I just want to thank you both for taking time of your busy life to come visit me and come to my baby shower. I know that it's hard. Obviously, this whole podcast was about how hard it is to be a mom. So thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are so
Thank you for having
appreciated.
us, and it was such a fun time. Everything salió bien hermoso. And
Gracias.
ahora solo esperar a que llegue la niña.
Sí, cuando llegue para que se vengan.
I'm so excited for
to
her.
meet her. We're gonna come
meet
help you.
her.
We'll clean, we'll
Oh,
cook, we'll do all
thanks.
of it.
And you'll help take my toddler's energy out.
Yes.
Please. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you both so much, and I'm so glad that we're finally in a video together again after so long.
Bien
And
diferente las pláticas ahora.
I know. ¿De qué hablamos la vez pasada?
Ay, ya
ni
ni
me acuerdo.
De
Oh
los
my
novios.
God, de los novios.
Yeah.
Sí me acuerdo. We were all like in love and
Maybe our talks like what we want to do in the future, but we never thought.
No estábamos bien.
I was telling
enamorados.
Jonathan, I was like, if you would have told all three of us right there filming the video in 4 years, you guys are both good. Oh, you are all gonna have 2 kids. I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. And
Have
look at us,
6 kids,
6
girl.
kids in between all 3 of us.
Daycare.
That's crazy,
Literally.
dude. Like 6 kids. That's a lot.
Yeah, the house is loud.
Yeah, cuando nuestros niños tengan fiestas se van a llenar con nosotros.
Sí.
Yep. The house is loud,
I'm
messy,
so glad you
and
brought a
love.
playpen to your baby shower. That was like the best thing you ever
best thing
did.
ever. Dude, it
I'm
was
so
so
happy.
beautiful, yeah.
I was thinking about it, and when I saw it, like all set up, I was like, "This is beautiful." I hope that the kids are there, and the kids were there the entire time. Comieron a gusto, bailaron a gusto, jugaron los juegos a gusto.
I
I'm like,
picked the
wow.
table closest to the playpen para
You're like,
mirarlos.
para verlo.
así.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yay.
Sí, yo le di, cuando entramos le dije a Jorge, ay, qué bueno que trajo eso porque así sí nos van a dejar en paz los niños.
Sí.
un ratito.
Dejan tan siquiera comer, you know,
We gotta
disfrutar.
dance, we
Yeah.
gotta eat.
Jugamos.
Y se
Thank you.
cansaron
Yeah.
machín. Ay, qué
Yeah.
bueno.
We
Well,
Llegaron
yeah.
cansados a la casa.
I know. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that this weekend was everything and
went
more.
well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for coming and talking with me, chismear un poquito. Y
Quiero platicar más.
probably,
I know. We have so much
3
to talk
hours.
about.
Dude, in the next podcast, ya cuando nazca la bebé, I'm going to be like, all right.
Dude, we should
let's
record a
sit
video
down.
with our babies here. Imagine how
No,
chaotic that would
hombre,
be.
chiquita.
Oh my god.
They would not be able to hear us.
I want to know, like, after you have baby girl, like, if we were, like, what we
Yes.
say, like, were correct or, like,
Yeah.
oh, no, it was, like, this.
It
or
was
that, you know?
different.
Experience.
Yeah, your experience.
Or maybe if it's easier than what you thought, or what we
Yeah.
told you, or was it
What
harder?
we'll be due for our next podcast then.
Sure.
But thank you guys for being here. Thank
4
you guys
years.
for watching.
We'll see you guys in 4 years.
Oh, hell
Imagine in 4 years we have like 20 babies.
No digas, por
You're gonna be
favor,
30?
que me desmayo. In 4 years, I'll be 29.
In 4 years I'll be 27.
¿Y tú?
27.
También. 27.
We're probably going to
We're
be in
teen
our...
moms.
Yeah, we're señoras. So we're already. It's because I think like we now think like señoras already,
Yeah.
you know. So oh my god, cuando iba a las citas de los niños en el doctor me decían, señora, I'm like, soy una señora. ¿Qué te pase? ¿Qué te pasa? Y dice Jorge, es que si eres señora porque estás casada, tienes niños.
Ay,
We're
Dios
señoras,
santo.
girl.
We're literally in our
Señora
señora
vibes.
era.
Señora vibes.
Y la queso. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we love you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Yay Networks.